I used to own a small business, and at the time, one of my biggest drivers of growth was this. My products were featured on great websites like NBC, Remezcla, and even BuzzFeed. In this video, I'm going to share the secret behind getting people to write about your products, and it is a well-crafted press release. To follow along, you should take a moment to download our press release templates that are linked in the description below. First, what is a press release? At its core, a press release is a one-page announcement of a significant event in your business. Now, when we think of marketing channels, we often place them in three categories. Paid is basically anything that you spend money on. Owned is anything like your website or email list, like stuff that is yours. And finally, earned media is anything that you haven't paid for or that you haven't really created yourself or own yourself. Press releases are core to earned media because they're often the fuel behind public relations or PR efforts. They are often how media outlets find out about the newsworthy things your company is doing. Now, when I say newsworthy, I'm not talking about celebrity gossip. In a business context, newsworthy can mean a new product launch, the appointment of someone to a leadership position, like maybe a new CEO, an upcoming event, or even a new brand partnership. Now, if you're anything like me, you might think your new product or event is not newsworthy. But listen, journalists today are under incredible pressure to pump out a bunch of content. They need ideas and they need stories. And if you want to be featured in one of them, a press release is a really strong start. Okay, let's talk through the 3 steps that you need to follow to create a compelling press release that gets picked up. First, you should identify and understand your target audience. By this, I mean your journalists. After all, these are the people who will read and potentially publish a story featuring your business. You can start by identifying industry publications, bloggers, and even news websites that cover topics related to your product or your service. For example, when I was running my own e-commerce business, my target customer was Puerto Ricans living in the United States. So I identified a list of target publications, the ones my target customer might potentially be reading. Remezcla, Me Too, and even my local newspaper in Puerto Rico, El Nuevo Dia, were all on that list. To expand my list of target publications, I did some competitor snooping. Semrush is really awesome for that. Now, at the time, shoplatinx.com was a really important competitor of mine. In the backlink analytics tool, when I enter their URL, I can see all sorts of interesting information about them, including the referring domains that are pointing traffic to their website. Cool. So when I click on those domains, I get a whole long list of potential media contacts to send my press releases to. Now, you can do this for any business online, and I could not recommend it more. I also recommend you keep a database of contacts. This can be just a really simple spreadsheet with the name, the contact information, and maybe some notes on each of the people in the media you are trying to reach. Okay, so once you understand your audience, meaning what journalists and what publications you're targeting, it's time to think of a topic and write the actual press release. Now, here's the template I linked below in the comments. To walk through its core elements, let's use a press release that Semrush recently sent to announce an event, the launch of the Mom and Pop Shop Challenge. Well, that's a mouthful. The first thing that is standard to all press releases is your logo. You should place it at the very top right-hand corner every time without fail, because if you've got a brand, you should absolutely use it or even flaunt it. Include the headline press release with the date of issue of the release. Now, if you don't want the information in your press release to be shared before a certain date, make sure that you're super clear about this, including an embargo notice. Clearly state the date, the time, and the time zone, really important, that the news is embargoed until. Now, next, you should identify the person that will be fielding media and press inquiries with their full name, their email address, and their phone number. If you're a small business, that person is most likely you. Up next, you have to write the actual press release. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can approach this, but the framework that I use is called inverted pyramid. And here's how it works. First, your headline should pique the interest and outline what the story is about. Semrush gives small businesses a boost with NYC-based Mom and Pop Shop Challenge. Paragraph 1 should condense the whole story into 20 to 30 words, including the who, the when, and the where. Paragraph 2 should provide some background context and why it's happening. Paragraph 3 fleshes the story out, how it developed. Paragraph 4 introduces quotes from a key player, a celebrity, or a spokesperson to broaden the appeal, like this quote right here from our wonderful CMO at Semrush, Andrew Warden, and entrepreneur and investor Barbara Corcoran. kind of love her on Shark Tank. Paragraph 5 provides information on where to buy products, the costs, your website address, etc. In this case, we are outlining the stores that are actually participating in this challenge. Now, the press release will end with your contact information and what we call a boilerplate. These are just a few lines about your business. Now, once you have written the press release, it's time to share it with the world. This is most likely the most important part of this process. So go back to the list of journalists and publications that you identified earlier, and you should then email these people individually with a personal note. Now, I know that this is extra credit, it's also extra work, but it can go such a long way, especially if you are not a known brand. Now, if you have a blog on your website or an area for press releases, you can also include this information there. This part of the process, honestly, involves quite a lot of hustle. Your chances of success are higher if you develop relationships with folks in the press, and this just takes time and patience. Your press release, warning, might not be picked up immediately or at all the first time that you try, but I definitely encourage you to not give up. Persistence is key when it comes to PR success. Now, tell me all about your PR successes and blunders in the comments. I would love to hear them. Until next time.